This the shooter shack. Brett McMoney, Patty G got the stats. Over 6 million views, now we back. Every Sunday with the kids with Santa. We have pro athletes on the show. #1, we used to picking winners. NFL, NHL, NBA, MLB, and that NCAA. Season 2 coming live in your face. Shooter Shack.
All right, welcome back to the Shooter Shack. As always, Pat Gregoire here with none other than Brett McConaughey, aka the Shooter. And well, folks, last week, not only was it a big week on the books, but it was a huge week online, and we have a little surprise for you guys.
Well, Patty, as a matter of fact, it was, and I went 4-1-1 on the week. Just another outstanding week down here at the Shack. Not a goddamn big deal. And for the first time ever, we were trending on YouTube. We peaked at number 12, which is a huge testament to the viewers at home. And for you guys being so loyal to the Shooter and Uncle Patty, I'm going to ship you guys a few more winners this week. So what do you say we get this thing rolling with another episode of the Shooter Shack?
All right, let's kick off this episode with the Shooter spread. And in game number 1, we've got Big Ben and the 2-0 Pittsburgh Steelers heading over to the Windy City to take on the struggling 0-2 Chicago Bears. So, Shooter, we have to ask you, where are we putting our chips in this one?
Well, Patty, the Pittsburgh Steelers are just loaded with weapons on both sides of the ball and figure to be once again in the mix when playoff time comes. And you can't say the same for the Chicago Bears. On the heels of consecutive losses, the Bears will look to right the ship in the Windy City on Sunday. Despite winning their first 2 contests, the Steelers have yet to truly hit their stride ahead of Week 3. Le'Veon Bell was held to only 32 rushing yards against Cleveland in Week 1 before putting up 87 against the Minnesota Vikings in Week 2. And you can expect to see more from the same from the dynamic running back in these upcoming weeks. Here's a trend that'll appeal to the bettors of the black and gold. In the Steelers' last 10 games as a favorite, they are 10-0 straight up and 7-2-1 against the spread. While football bettors tend to be a little wary backing favorites of a touchdown or more, Pittsburgh has given us no reason to doubt them when it comes to putting points up on the board, especially against lesser teams like the Chicago Bears. The Steelers are 7-0 straight up and 5-1-1 against the spread in their last 7 games in the early afternoon, while the Chicago Bears are 0-6 in their last 6 games at games that start at 1 p.m. If these little tidbits from Uncle Shooter don't spell it out for you, I'll take care of that for you on the back end. The Steel Curtain should be having a massive breakout game from Le'Veon Bell and take it to the Bears at home. I am buying myself a point, Patty, and I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers at -6.5.
Okay, game number 2 has a couple of 1-1 teams squaring off as the Houston Texans take on the New England Patriots up at Gillette Stadium. And as Shooter is about to tell you, well, history certainly doesn't favor the Texans in this one.
Well, that's right, Patty. Now, both the Patriots and Texans bounced back in Week 2 after disappointing opening weeks, and the two are set to face off again on Sunday in New England. These franchises have met 5 times in New England since the Texans entered the league back in 2002, and Houston has been absolutely embarrassed each time, going 0-5 straight up and against the spread with an average losing margin of almost 24 points. It's not the one the Texans want. With rookie quarterback Deshaun Watson now calling the shots for the Texans, it's no shocker here, folks, to see that the Patriots are double-digit favorites, hovering around the 13-point margin. Backing New England as a double-digit favorite has been a profitable venture, as they've gone 8-1 against the spread in their last 9 games in that spot, and that includes a cover of a 16.5-point favorite over Houston last year in the playoffs. I'll tell you right now, things are pointing in the direction of the New England Patriots, and they have also rattled off an 18-6-3 against the spread mark in their last 27 home games, and they're also 9-1 against the spread in their last 10 games as a favorite. These trends favoring New England are just getting a little bit out of hand, and as a result, they're probably going to be a popular bet once again in Week 3, with the Texans going just 1-7 in their last 8 games against the Patriots, and they have also never won or covered the spread in Gillette Stadium. So Patty, after a tough loss at home to start the season and bouncing back in the Big Easy, I like New England to win this game, and I like them to win this game big. Feel comfortable with this play, and if it makes you feel any better, go ahead and buy a half point and roll with Uncle Shooter. Because, Patty, I am taking the Pats at -12.
All right, let's wrap up the Shooter spread with a good one right here. It is the 0-2 Cincinnati Bengals who have been struggling to find their stripes, and they will be taking on the 1-1 Green Bay Packers, and this one goes down at historic Lambeau Field. So, Shooter, who do you like in this game?
Well, Patty, excluding 2016, the Cincinnati Bengals have been a relatively competitive team in the Andy Dalton era. 2 weeks into the season, the Bengals resemble anything but a playoff contender. The offensively deficient Bengals have had their hands full the first 2 weeks, and nothing changes here in Week 3 against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. The Packers have had poor first halves in back-to-back contests after putting up a goose egg against Seattle in Week 1 and looking like the lesser team against Atlanta last week. A positive spot for the Packers have been Ty Montgomery, as the ex-wide receiver posted 203 yards with 3 touchdowns in his first full year as the starting running back. Starting the campaign against talented squads like Seattle and Atlanta isn't easy, but bettors can expect for Green Bay to look like their usual selves this weekend against Cincinnati. Backers of the Pack are going to be happy to know that they're a perfect 8-0 straight up in their previous 8 home games in the month of September. The Packers are also 13-3 against the spread in their last 16 games at home after covering in their 2 most recent home games. While the Bengals, these guys are just 1-6 straight up and 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 games on the road. With that being said, Patty, I think the Cheeseheads are coming out of the oven hot, crispy, and ready to beat the Red Rocket and the Bengals like a red-headed stepchild. I'm buying myself a half a point, and I'm taking the Green Bay Packers at -8.5.
All right, it's time for segment number 2, and yes, it is the Shooty Suey. So if you're in a suicide pool and don't know who you should be taking here, well, old Uncle Shooter is having a good start to the year at 2-0 so far, and he's got another good one for you.
Well, Patty, that's for sure. And since I kept you alive last week and all the viewers at home with my Raiders pick, I told you to sit back, relax, and enjoy those cold ones and a couple dingers, as Uncle Patty likes to say. This week, I'm going to make another play that should keep those old cheeks tucked into the lazy boy. I am going with the Cheeseheads. I like Green Bay to beat up on the Bengals like I just said in the broadcast, and I feel like this is the best suicide play of the week. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am going with the Green Bay Packers.
Okay, Shooter, another game where the folks at home, they don't need points. They just need a straight-up winner. So we have to ask you, where are we putting our money on the Brett McMoney line?
Well, Patty, this week I am going with the Carolina Panthers. These guys have started the season 2-0, limiting the Bills and the 49ers to 6 total points and 393 total yards of offense combined. They'll need that defense to be stiff once again Sunday when the Cam Newton-led offense failing to really get things going in the first 2 weeks of the season. But that's going to have to get going real quick, and losing one of the best pass-catching tight ends in the NFL, Greg Olsen, isn't going to make things easier, but I feel really comfortable about this. Now, I'm going to put this one in there as a tight divisional game, and I see these two teams having a battle, and they also have a great history. But I think the Panthers will take this game. I don't think I'd bet them on the points, but I like them to win this game and get the W. So sink your teeth in and roar with Uncle Shooter and the Carolina Panthers, because these fellas right here are my McMoney line play for week number 3.
All right, folks, it's everyone's new favorite segment. Yes, I'm talking about that T-Bag teaser. So tee me up that T-Bag, Shooter.
All right, Patty, let's get this thing going. I've told you it's my favorite way to play, and since I'm 2-0 to start the season with the 3-team 10-point teaser, there's no need to steer away from what's working. So, guys, this week, I got the Fish at +4, the Patriots at -3, and the Baltimore Ravens overseas at +7.
All right, folks, well, there you have it. Another episode in the books. It's season number 2. Another episode down here in the Shack 2.0. And like I said last week, just because we're in a new spot and it's a new season, it doesn't mean that things have changed around here. Old Uncle Shooter's still the #1 handicapper in the entire world. Already at an 80% to start this year off, and I know that week 3 will be the same. So what you have to do, folks, is head to the website at theshootershack.ca and grab your investment package today.
And that's it, Patty. And we got to show you some of the emails Uncle Shooter's getting. It is absolutely hilarious what people are telling me. It's good stuff. We're going to somehow get your guys' greasy little paws on that. But I cannot thank you guys enough for tuning in week after week. We wouldn't have this beautiful set. We wouldn't have been trending last week, number 12 on YouTube, as one of the most watched videos in the world if it wasn't for you guys at home tuning in. So from Patty and I, we can't thank you enough. Patty, like always, brother, it's a pleasure. Thanks for stopping by. And now a word from our sponsors. All right, guys, first and foremost, there's a couple sponsors that I want to thank. You guys have seen them on the podium throughout the entire show. Henry Appellum. It is my favorite wine. Patty enjoys it. Great patio sipper. The women love it. The males love it. And it goes down the hatch smooth. At the LCBO, if you purchase a bottle right now, $1 from every purchase will go to the big brothers and sisters of Canada. And this is just a fantastic thing that the guys at HOP are doing. Guys, can't thank you enough for sponsoring the Shack and looking forward to having a great season with you. And Summersby. These guys take care of Patty and myself, the #1 selling cider in Canada, and there's a reason for it. There is nothing better when this thing hits the lips. Patty, I'm shipping you a pair, and I'm going to go with the blackberry. From all of us down here at the Shooter Shack to you guys down at Summersby, cheers.
Don't forget to climb that tree.
Make sure you climb it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Now, Shooter, as you know, hockey players losing jibs all the time. One of my buddies actually just lost one of his chiclets, so I've got to ask you, is there someone you know that can help him out?
Well, as a matter of fact, Patty, there is. Dr. J. Petroff at Maple Ridge Dental. He is the top dentist in Ontario. You call the number on the bottom of the screen and book an appointment today. And if you want to have a smile like the Shooter, make sure you go see Dr. J.